coffee. Coffee. Oh, ho, ho. Damn. I made a really good cup of coffee, you guys. You can see my foam. I have a foamer on my coffee machine because it's like 7 in the morning. And I wanted to get this done, before the regular day starts and life starts. And so, hey guys, welcome back to Watch with Marcella, where today we are about to get into what I loved, what I didn't love, which wasn't much, and how I just in general am feeling about Wakanda Forever. I saw it this weekend with my mom, and you're not gonna be surprised. I loved it. I loved it. I cried. Oh, I cried. I wasn't sitting there sobbing uncontrollably, but the tears were just like streaming out of the corner of my eye, like silently falling several times. So let's start off with the non-spoilery section of this review. If you want, you can skip ahead. I'll put the time code in when I start talking about spoilery stuff. But let's just get the non-spoilery part out of the way. This is a great sequel. People are going to have a problem with it because the actual Black Panther doesn't show up until the third act of the movie, and I'm fine with that. This was a brilliantly executed portrayal of grief and the many different stages and ways that people grieve. And one of the reviews that I read, it's making me mad already. I wish I could find it again. If I find it, I'll put the link in the description below. It pissed me off so bad because this particular reviewer was saying that, so the movie starts off, non-spoiler, we saw it in the trailer, is that the movie basically starts off with the death of T'Challa. And we all knew that was coming. We knew it was going to happen. And there is a funeral procession that happens at the beginning of the movie. And this one reviewer said that the extras in the scene were grinning like idiots at being in their first MCU movie. I tell you, I'm not lying, when I wanted to Hulk smash my phone. They're not grinning like idiots at being so excited at being in their first MCU. Wakandans celebrate death. Death is not the end. So a funeral procession is going to be a celebration of life. And the beauty and the emotion and the raw just caring that was coming from this scene. And it just made me so mad. But anyway, back to the non-spoiler section. So we get to deal and see the cast and characters deal with the passing of T'Challa right off the bat. Like, we're not going to hide from it. It starts this way. And the whole movie is just like the stages of grief and how you deal with grief and how different people deal with grief and how some people deal with it and others don't. And how we all need the space and time to do that. And it kind of reminds me of some people out there in the world who, just because I cried over losing Chadwick in general, called my trailer reaction cringy because I didn't know the man, but am I not allowed to be sad about the passing of a man who meant so much to so many people? Don't gate people's emotions. Don't gate people's fandoms. Just leave people be. You do you, I'm gonna do me, and I'm probably gonna cry 5 or 6 times during this review. So if you don't like that and that's cringy, I advise you to get to stepping because I got nothing for you. For those that cried along with me and understood how much the passing of Chadwick meant to everyone. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. The movie didn't feel long. I was actually surprised when it was over. And I will let you guys know, because I looked it up, because, there's always going to be an end credit scene. We left after the mid-set credit scene because the only thing that happens after that point is the Black Panther will return. And I find not seeing that. So one thing that we need to discuss is the hashtag Oscar for Angela. Because Queen Ramonda, Angela Bassett, damn, girl. I mean, seriously, damn. She does an amazing job in this movie. As does the entire cast. Anaya Guerrero, you're intense. Michaela Cole, hello and welcome to the MCU. Cannot wait to see you on the Dora Milaje show. Oh, it's all just so good. And Letitia Wright. Letitia Wright was a bright little quirky character in the first Black Panther. And now it's like this entire franchise has been sat upon her shoulders. And I think she did a great job. I really think she did a great job. Her style, damn. Okay, let's talk about the stylist. She looked amazing throughout this entire movie. Her outfits were on point, and I can't wait. They need to just release a Shuri line. Her universe. Can I get that jumpsuit that she wore? That purple and black jumpsuit? Oh my goodness, her style in this movie was just intense and insane all throughout. But I'm afraid I'm gonna say something spoilery, so let's just wrap up the non-spoiler section there and just say this is a good movie. Go see it. There are plenty of action scenes, but it is also an emotionally driven movie. It introduces new characters. We get to meet Riri Williams. She's phenomenal. There are so many good things to be had here that you're not going to be disappointed. I promise you. I wasn't. If you are disappointed, I'm not sure why. Let me know down below in the comments if you didn't like it, because I don't see any bad here. I really enjoyed it. Okay, let's get into the spoilery section. So if you don't want to be spoiled, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all them things you know what to do. Let's talk spoilers. Queen Ramonda. Let's start with Queen Ramonda. She's been through so much. She's had so much taken from her. And yet she regally walked into that UN meeting and laid the law down. If that scene is not in an Oscar nomination package, I don't know what her people are doing, because I didn't realize she's never won. How are you like waiting to exhale, blowing shit up, and you got your groove back, Estelle, and you haven't won an Oscar? Seriously? How is that possible? You better get it for Queen Ramonda, because from her emotional walk in that funeral celebration to her in Haiti, to her sacrifice for Riri, which it's like, oh, I wish you hadn't done that. Did we need to do that? I guess we did. So there's a small list of things that not that I didn't like, but that I don't know if, okay, let's just say there's like, okay. So the first thing was Queen Ramonda's death. It devastated me. You know, in the trailer, she's got the line, and in the movie, she's got the line, you know, my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything? And I wondered what that meant. And Shuri, of course, was kidnapped by Namor and the Atlanteans, which, can someone explain to me why the city is called Talokan, and yet everyone keeps referring to them as Atlanteans? They never actually said Atlantean in the movie, did they? I didn't hear anyone say Atlantean in the movie, but when everyone talks about them, they talk about them as Namor and the Atlanteans. But they come from Talokan, so wouldn't they just be Talakinians? Hashtag Talakinians? Let me know down below in the comments, because that confused the hell out of me. And I just kept thinking about it. And I'm still thinking about it. So again, Queen Ramonda, she's lost her husband. She's lost her son. Her daughter has been kidnapped. And now here comes Namor, and he did warn her. I will say, he said he won't kill her, and he killed her. She drowned, and she died. And now Shuri her entire family is gone. Has she not given everything? She has given her mind, her technological advancements to this city, and now her entire family's gone. They're just gone. And what is she going to do? M'Baku. The great ape. Winston Duke, you're a delight. And having him show up in that first scene with that carrot was such a fantastic callback to the first movie, and him threatening to have Ross fed to his children. It's so good. I love it so much. But M'Baku steps up in a big way in this movie. He went from being, you know, having the Jabari clan off in the mountains and not being a part of Wakandan society only when he felt like it, to he really feels like a part of this community, and he kept his word to T'Challa to look after his family. And he really does step up. Even when everything looks lost, he brings the entire city to Jabari Land, and it's amazing. And he's really there for Shuri when she has this like moment of, is she going to be a villain or a hero? And he kind of is like her Jiminy Cricket. And he tells her what she needs to hear. Does she listen? Not so much. But it's there in her mind. And I think it eventually leads her in the right direction. You can't always hear the advice when it's given. Sometimes it just has to sit and stew with you until you're ready to hear it and act on it. And I think that's what M'Baku does for Shuri. I'm like ride or die with Ramunda, except for one thing. In this movie, she strips Okoye of her general status and leader of the Dora Milaje because Okoye loses Shuri. She's kind of, it's not her fault that Shuri's taken. I mean, they're attacked, they're outnumbered, and she put up a hell of a fight. But when she strips her of being general, she throws in her face that she stood by Killmonger when Killmonger took the throne, which she did her job. Her job is to be loyal to that throne, no matter who sits upon it. She did her job. It's so gut-wrenching to see Okoye cry. I can't even talk about it. Like, it was, I was sitting in the theater, like, silently rocking, like, stop crying. No, I don't like to see this. This is so much. And then to have just such a section of this movie without Okoye and without that strong sense of, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. Okoye's here. It was weird, you know? And then on the flip side of that, so like the first half of the movie, we get Okoye and her strength and the general, you know, and then where's Nakia? We don't see Nakia until the second half of the movie when we don't see Okoye anymore. Ramunda goes after Shuri's taken, which, let's be real, Shuri pulled a parlay. She wanted to save Riri, so she gave herself up as well so that she could go along with the Talokinians. And so to say that she was taken is not really fair. Shuri did the political thing, the right thing. Makes me so mad that Okoye gets stripped of her rights for like her general status for that. It just upsets me so much. Anyway, so Ramunda sends Nakia to go get Shuri back. And if you stayed through the mid-credit scene, you find out that Nakia left after Endgame because she was pregnant. And her and T'Challa decided it would be better if he grew up, little Toussaint grew up away from all of that. He's kind of like Harry Potter. They just made the MCU's Harry Potter, except he's not an orphan. But he could have been. And this is what I didn't realize until after the movie. I didn't realize how much this family means to Nakia that she was willing, without question, we should say. She left Toussaint to save Shuri. All my moms out there, let me know how hard of a decision that would have been for you to leave your child to go save your family. But I think Nakia knew that Shuri is that important to Wakanda, to the world, and that Toussaint would be okay. That's what they call him. They call him Toussaint. His actual name is T'Challa, son of T'Challa. And it was quite the mid-credit scene. In the trailer, we saw her on that beach, you know, all upset, and we wondered what it meant. And here it was the mid-credit scene, the end of the movie and the mid-credit scene when she's sitting on that beach. She can feel T'Challa there with her, and she kind of, you know, she burns her ceremonial funeral clothes, and she's taking that step that Ramonda asked her to make earlier in the film, right before they meet Namor, but she couldn't do it because she was too afraid that if she burned those clothes, it would just ignite this fire within her, and she'd want to burn the world down. And who hasn't been there? Let's talk about the one plot line that I just feel was a little bit of gravy, a little bit extra, a little bonus little morsel for us that I'm not sure we needed. Like, I was already full on Wakandan goodness. I don't know that I needed that extra serving of dinner rolls with director Val of the CIA. Do I enjoy seeing Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Oh yeah. Do I enjoy the setup of what's to come for the next phase of the MCU? Sure, I do. I enjoy it. Did I need it here? I don't know. I've kind of enjoyed the way that Val shows it. So, Val has been laying all these seeds throughout our Disney Plus shows and Black Widow for a while now. She's, I'm assuming, setting up the Thunderbolts, and we know that's coming. So I get why she's here, but there's little aspects that that feel just thrown into me. And I mean, I'll take them. I'll eat them up with a spoon. I don't care. It was great. She was great. She was great in it. Great little revelations. She is Ross's ex-wife. Okay. Why? Why is that important? If I had so much to focus on in this movie that my attention didn't need pulled away with wondering what some of that meant. But I get it. I do. So, like I said, it's like the worst episode of Buffy is still a great episode of Buffy. So even a weird little B plot line with, I mean, I knew we needed Ross in this movie because he is Shuri's favorite colonizer. Having Val in this movie was just a little, like extra morsel, I guess, that they gave us. Could some of her scenes, especially her, desire to get all of the vibranium, she was so good in that scene. I can dream about that. It was so good. I loved it so much. But again, that could have been a mid-credit scene, maybe. The revelation that she's Ross's ex-wife maybe could have happened there. And here, this comes my big number one complaint with Val. Okay, let's get into it. Because everyone can be nitpicky, so this is my one nitpicky tech thing with the movie. There's a scene where, after Shuri's taken by the Talakanians, hashtag gonna make that happen. Ross shows up on the scene, and Val shows up on the scene, and Ross finds Shuri's Kamoya beads, and he takes them, and he uses them throughout Act 2. He's using them all the time to connect with Ramonda and find out what's going on with Shuri, and he's using them all the time. So then we find out later in the movie that Val got to the scene first. Her people got there first. She bugged the Kamoyo beads, and she's been listening in all this time. I call bullshit. Wakanda is so advanced. You're telling me the second that those Kamoya beads connected Ramonda and Ross that it didn't pick up on that bug? Come on. Their tech is so more advanced. So far advanced. There's no way. No. You're not going to bug a Wakandan device. It's just not going to happen. You probably wouldn't even be able to figure out how. So I would have believed you bugged Ross subdermally somehow more than I believe you bugged those beads. And that's my only, fanboy BS complaint. That's the only thing I was like, nope. And it took me a good maybe 5 minutes to refocus on the screen because I was like, no, that's just not, that wouldn't happen. That's not, no. That wouldn't happen. How are you? No. And then I centered, I focused, and we got back to it. Okay. Let's talk biggest surprises. From the time that Lego released the Black Panther Wakanda Forever sets, we knew that Shuri was the Black Panther. I still haven't figured out why Lego decided to just blow the big spoiler in the movie. Not that anyone was surprised, because the comic, she's the Black Panther in the comic. So there were, let's just say, the world kind of split down the middle maybe, and there were some camps. Maybe more than the middle, but anyway, there were some camps. There was the Make Shuri Black Panther camp, where this is what happens to the comic. That's fine. Just make her Black Panther. It's right there. That's the natural course the story is going to go. And then there was the recast T'Challa camp. But Ryan Coogler very, very quickly was like, we're not recasting T'Challa. It's not going to happen. Forget about it. No. Now, I see that this hashtag recast T'Challa trend has started again since the movie has come out. There are some He-Man woman haters out there that don't like Shuri as Black Panther. They don't like seeing women kick ass. They just don't. And they're probably watching this video, and to you I say hello and goodbye, because this movie was great, the women kicked ass, and Shuri is your Black Panther. Shuri's my Black Panther. And that is not to say that we don't all miss T'Challa, and that we will always miss T'Challa. But with grief comes acceptance, and everyone in this movie had to move forward with their lives. You don't forget your past, you don't forget the people in it, but you do have to keep moving forward. You have to keep walking. And one of the ways that we see Shuri take those first steps, and she takes them in the wrong direction, but she still took them, is in the scene when she finally figures out how to recreate the heart-shaped herb. So the movie, let me go back a little. The movie kicks off because T'Challa is dying, and she cannot synthesize this heart-shaped flower, this heart-shaped herb. And she fails before she can save him. And it sends her into such a just deep, dark place emotionally in herself. And you see it all over her face. And she spends the whole first and second act in that place. I mean, she, there's times where she can joke with Okoye about her ashy head. And there are times when she can just be stoic. Women can do multiple things at once. We can grieve, we can laugh, we can cry, and we can kick ass. And Shuri does a lot of that throughout this entire movie. But let's get back to the biggest surprises of the movie. So when Shuri finally figures out the formula, after using some Talokinian tech, she takes a bracelet that Namor gave her, because the Wakandans and the Talokinians have a very similar backstory. Very similar events happened, and they both have their own origin stories, which we do get a great deal of time focused on Namor's backstory, and I think it's important. Some people didn't like that, but I thought it was important. And without that, we wouldn't get Shuri's revelation that she can use that bracelet he gave her to help her recreate this flower. And so she tests it on herself, which scientists would do. And, she sinks down into the ancestral plane, and it doesn't quite go like she thought it would. I'm not sure who she thought she would see. I think she wanted to see her mother, if I remember correctly. But she doesn't. She instead gets the best surprise cameo that could have been. She sees Eric. And he's dressed in white, and in the throne room where she died, very much like he showed up in the ancestral plane at the place where his dad died. Their stories are very, their grief and their rage are very similar. And so he's basically there to tell her, what are you going to do? Are you going to get, are you going to handle your shit, or are you going to be like everybody else in your family? And we don't get that answer right away until, it seems like she's going to handle her shit. And her entrance, that fall we see in the trailer, is dope. I loved it. My crowd, it was light. There wasn't that many people there. There were maybe 30 people total, but they were pretty quiet. We laughed together and you could hear some sobs, but there wasn't any cheers. I wish I'd gotten a crowd that had cheers, because you don't want to be the only person cheering in a theater. It's weird and it makes you feel all weird inside. But Shuri's grief and rage are powering her Black Panther introduction. But I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew she was going to do the right thing. Sometimes you got to be a little anti-hero before you're a hero. Tony's not the best person either, and yet he is the best person. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. And she eventually does follow the path. I will tell you, sitting in that theater, during that last act, I kept thinking of the scene when T'Challa's fighting M'Baku during his ceremony, and Ramonda keeps yelling to him to show him who you are. And so the whole time Shuri's fighting Namor, I kept screaming in my mind, show him who you are. And then there is that scene where she sees Ramonda tell her to show him who she is. And again, I started crying. I was like, it's so good. Ryan Coogler, you're so good. But so in the end, she does do the right thing, albeit in a very nasty way. I mean, she lit his ass up. It's kind of gross. But she does, in the end, start to follow the path of the Panther, let's say. And she realizes that they can't kill each other. And I'm sitting there going, please stop killing each other. You cannot kill each other. You need to come together, and you're going to have to fight the world, because the world's going to come for you. The world wants your vibranium. You got to stop fighting. Stop fighting. That was my feeling the whole time during that last act. And she does. Her and Namor come together and get them to stop fighting. Now, whether Namor's people are very pleased with that, we'll have to see what happens in the next Black Panther, because I don't think they're very happy about it. This will probably lead into how Namor kind of joins the Avengers at some point, but he's not always so nice. And his general person, Atuma, is definitely not nice. But did Okoye kill Atuma? Or did she just kick his butt off the boat and he's in the water fine? I can't remember. But Namora may take up the mantle of Atuma in the comics, because in the comics I've learned that Atuma, he comes for Namor and the crown of Talokan. But that seemed more like Namora was going to do that. So we'll see what happens down the line. It's exciting. I hope they do it. To wrap up how I felt about this movie, I'm just going to say it was a beautiful ethnic display of excellence on all fronts. It was so nice to see Mesoamerican culture that I'm not familiar with. The performances, insane. Oscars all around. I'm not kidding. I really do think that Namor, the introduction of this character, the backstory of this character, the performance of this actor, supporting actor, yeah. Golden Globe, Oscar, I'm here for it. Shuri, amazing. Letitia Wright did an amazing job. Angela Bassett, amazing job. Winston Duke, amazing job. There's so many amazing performances here. And if this movie doesn't, this movie deserves some recognition. I'm tired of Oscar baity dramas getting all of the awards. We know you people can act. We know you can act. Get Tom Hanks, you Meryl Streeps. We know you can act. We know it. I need these kind of films to get the recognition that they deserve. They're not just popcorn films. The emotion, if you... You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I can't wait to see this again. I thought it was beautifully written, beautifully done, and beautifully executed. Everything they gave us was a treat. It is different from the first movie, and it should be. And I know a lot of reviewers kept harping on, while it was good, it'll make me always wonder what could have been. No, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. This is what we have. This is what I enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, do all the things. And until next time, I will see you all later. Take care. Bye.